It's time to duel! Welcome to It's Always Sunny in Hollywood. I am your host, Patrick.
And I am red.
And I am Lugia. This is a different card game than what we're used to.
Yes, today is actually, I guess this could be considered a Halloween episode, since Halloween is tomorrow as of the time of this recording.
Yeah, and this is a thriller. I'd say it fits.
Kind of, yeah.
Actually, but speaking of Halloween, before we actually jump into the movie, I did something quite exciting this weekend. I, for the first time ever, got to experience a live version of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, how was that?
Oh my god, it was so much fun. Because here's the thing. Up until this year, the only thing I knew about Rocky Horror was the time warp. I knew there was this huge cult following to it, but I didn't know anything about, the call-outs and everything. But now getting to experience this completely blind firsthand, it was so much fun. And I had a front row seat.
Cool.
I definitely recommend, if you guys ever get the chance, go see Rocky Horror live.
Not the movie? Alright.
Well, they play the movie, but at the same time, there are people up in the front of the theater who are reenacting the movie on stage, but also playing with the audience. It's a very unique experience.
That's cool.
Okay. Yeah, no, that sounds like a lot of fun.
So it's like watching a movie and watching a stage play at the same time with audience interaction. Actually, guys, did you see the new trailer for Sonic Prime?
I did.
I did, yeah. I found it interesting that Mike Pollock isn't voicing Eggman.
Yeah,
I don't think any of the original, or I say original, any of the new cast is returning.
Yeah, Sonic's is completely different.
I was not expecting the alternate dimension redesign thing.
Tall Amy. That's a thing.
I mean, like, it looks cool. The animation looks really good.
That's pretty much it, though. We don't really have a whole lot to go off of when it comes to Sonic Prime. I read that Shadow was not going to be the main antagonist and that it would be someone completely different.
Imagine it's just Eggman.
It would be funny, but I saw a post on the Sonic official Twitter account that said, "Who is this?" And they just show a picture of Mephiles. So who knows, maybe he's in it. And obviously everyone in the replies just said, "That's Memphis, Tennessee."
Do we actually duel now?
Yeah, I guess.
I think it's time.
Alright, so without further ado.
Oh, is there a robot Amy? I didn't know it was that. Huh. Weird. Okay, cool.
Anyway, Duel. Despite my joke earlier, this is not a Yu-Gi-Oh movie. Not even a movie about swordplay, which, you'd think, because Duel. No, this is Steven Spielberg's Duel, his first feature-length directorial debut, actually. He was only 26 at the time, so that's pretty cool.
24, actually.
Before?
Yeah.
I reached he was 26.
I think he was 24 when the theatrical, not when the theatrical and the original was made. Maybe like 2 years later they did theatrical. Who knows? When I looked it up, it was 24.
Point is he was in his mid-20s at the time.
He was very young. That's unusual. Sure.
It's too late for us. We should give up.
Point is, at the time, Spielberg only had a few credits to his name, and they were just a few episodes of TV shows like Columbo, The Name of the Game, and also a segment of the anthology TV movie Night Gallery. But when it comes to Duel itself, that's actually based on a short story by Richard Matheson, best known as the author of the book I Am Legend. And the story behind Duel's conception is actually pretty shocking. So Richard Matheson and his friend were out playing golf, but in the middle of their game, they heard that President JFK had been assassinated. And feeling overwhelmed with anger, sadness, and confusion, decided to go home. But while on the road, they were tailgated by a truck for several miles. And at one point, the truck cut both of them off the road. And Matheson speculates that the driver's actions were results of them angry from the assassination. But this would serve as inspiration for a short story that he would write nearly a decade later that would first be published in Playboy magazine in 1971. You weren't expecting that to be where the story begins.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. The day John F. Kennedy was assassinated, he was playing golf. On his drive home, he was tailgated by a crazy truck driver.
Let's put that shit in a porn magazine.
Okay.
This is why I love looking at background of movies, because sometimes like things come from the weirdest places.
I can't wrap my head around the correlation. Like, no, really, how? Why?
JFK, Playboy,
It still doesn't make
Connected-
sense.
connected to Steven Spielberg. Okay. Anyway, Spielberg, going back to him, he was made aware of the story when his secretary showed it to him, believing that it would be of interest to him. What I find funny is that when she brought him the issue of Playboy, she said, "Ignore the girls, read the story." And Spielberg, he read the story and he was interested in it. And just so happens at the time, Universal was trying to make it into a made-for-TV film. They just needed a director. And he's like, you know what? Yeah, I'll do it. This seems cool. He originally wanted the movie to be completely silent with no dialogue, but the studio said, we're not doing that. So they compromised. They got rid of half the dialogue and kept the other half in. As we notice, this movie is very much in silence. But being a made-for-TV film, the budget and filming were incredibly tight. Spielberg was only given 10 days to shoot the movie on a budget of $405,000. And he actually went 3 days over the schedule. He shot for 13 days.
I mean,
Duel
you
was
gotta do what you gotta do.
You do. Or should I say, you gotta duel what you gotta duel? Okay,
You gotta
I'm done
duel with the hand you are dealt.
I'm done with the Duel jokes. Anyway, Duel was broadcast on ABC on November 13th, 1971, and it was very successful, drawing positive reactions and achieving a Nielsen rating of 33%. And because of its success, Universal decided to give the film a theatrical release overseas. But due to it being only 74 minutes long, that meant it wasn't long enough to qualify for a theatrical run. So they had Spielberg shoot a few additional scenes, bringing the runtime up to 90 minutes, which is the version we saw. You guys saw the 90-minute version, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't know if the 75-minute version is available. I looked for it, but it's not. I don't think they ever released that. Like, yeah, I don't think like it's ever been released. Like, they all the other mono releases are just of the theatrical cuts. So yeah.
Anyway, that's pretty much it when it comes to background information. I guess one other fun fact is that it was because of his work on Duel that he was chosen to direct Jaws.
And we know how that turned out.
Yep, so this is a pretty significant movie in Spielberg's library. I mean, not only was it his first film, it's responsible for getting him the job for the movie that would, solidify his career.
Basically focused on one character.
2, if you count the truck as a character.
I guess. Yeah. I found it interesting is they actually used 2 trucks in filming. Peterbilt 281 and Peterbilt 351. So kind of cool. So I guess what did you guys think of the movie?
I mean, the plot. Granted, I can summarize it in one sentence. A man is driving through the desert and he's being tailgated by a giant truck that wants to kill him. That's pretty much it.
I think there's an implied truck driver, but we never see him.
We see his boots and we see his hand, and there are brief instances where we can see his face, but not clearly.
So, for all intents and purposes, the truck itself is evil.
I thought it was like similar to Christine, that John Carpenter movie, or I think that might have been a Stephen King thing also. But yeah.
Maybe.
I was reminded of that one episode from Regular Show, Hello Governor, where it's just
yes,
the car that says Hello Governor and kills everybody.
Yes, I remember that episode. I was like, this gave me vibes of like an episode of The Twilight Zone, which actually makes sense because Richard Matheson did write some episodes for The Twilight Zone. The question, when you guys were in 8th grade, did you read a story about a guy who's driving down the road and he sees the same hitchhiker mile after mile?
I remember a story like that. I don't remember what it was.
This reminds me of that, only, a truck instead of a hitchhiker. And there was I remember we even watched an adaptation of that short story that The Twilight Zone made.
Yeah.
This kind of gave me vibes of that. Did we like the movie?
Yeah. I'll say So I found out what's the one scene that got added for the theatrical cut, and I'll be honest, I think they should have cut that. That's just me. It's like the conversation he has with his wife.
That's the phone call.
Yeah, I think that was a bit unnecessary. They could have just kept that out, especially
Yeah,
because like I like the implication that I had at the start that he was the guy that wrote that
yeah. There was
that phone
the guy
call.
on the radio saying, "I don't feel like I'm in charge of the house anymore."
Yeah, and then like that wife phone call kind of just eliminates that idea. I was like, oh, that kind of ruins it.
Yeah, because he even says it like he's at the gas station. The guy says, "Oh, you're the boss. Not in my house. I'm not."
Yeah. Anyway,
Also, I was completely thrown off because during the phone call, his wife says that she was harassed at a party, and
yeah,
like that just came out of left field.
And it doesn't
I
happen
guess like
ever
it
again.
wants
It's not
the
brought
whole.
up ever
It's
again.
never brought up. His wife is never brought up again.
I think that
Tommy
the idea.
Wiseau was inspired by this movie.
He was. Oh wait, no,
No,
that's a joke.
that's a joke.
Doy. Ugh.
Yeah, no, I thought what I thought was that the whole point of that scene was the like harassing thing is that like basically like I think in the original TV movie version like that phone call was meant to just they were trying to imply that was him and they were trying to give this like whole like emasculated feel, and I guess him not defending his wife when she got harassed at a party, that was like their attempt at making him like emasculated again while like still having this additional scene. And I was like, I don't know, I think they should have just cut it. But yeah.
Yeah, it honestly
Um,
doesn't really add much.
yeah.
I mean, you got to reach that runtime
But
limit.
other than that, like it was good. Like it's like the only scene I didn't really like, and that was that was the thing that he was forced to put in against his will. So yeah,
I
there's
will
like
say
30 lines of dialogue max, but like it's kind of he's able to milk a lot out of this premise. Like the diner scene, I really loved because of like the
Oh
whole
yeah,
thing.
me too.
The diner scene was really good.
Yeah.
And like I thought it was pretty clever, like with the train stuff. Like he was able. This is like you said, this is like a Twilight Zone episode, but he's able to like do a lot with the premise.
Mm-hmm.
Milked it as much as he possibly could while like still keeping it fresh.
Also, when the truck is trying to kill him while he's at that little gas station or whatever, like he's in the telephone booth and the truck veers towards him, he jumps out. Jesus.
It caught me off guard when he let him pass all of a sudden for a car to just like come straight at him. So he was trying to kill him. And then the truck driver just stops hiding. He's like, all right, you know what? I'm going to kill this man no matter what it takes. He's calling the police, run him over. Although I will say, I think the premise did get a little bit stale by the end. Like after that diner scene, it was like, yeah, okay, it doesn't really change much from there. I mean, by that point, you're just waiting for one of them to die.
Yeah, I thought like the
Actually,
train.
I'll be honest. I was
brought in like with the bus. I thought that was a great element, the bus stuff.
I'll be honest, Luke. Yeah, I feel a little bit of the opposite. I thought like the first half of the movie was a little slow. Like it was just the two of them on the road with, like he's just trying to pass him, and that's kind of
fair.
it. But
yeah.
after the diner scene, it gets a bit more creative with how it tries to, run him over while he's in the telephone thing, and how his car is overheating and it's not really running anymore. I feel like got a bit more creative after the diner scene.
I don't know. I just felt a little bit fatigued because it was still the same premise.
Yeah, I felt
and
like
it didn't really evolve from there.
Yeah,
maybe like the pacing would have felt better if they cut out those dumb scenes they added. But yeah,
Probably.
the first half was like a pretty good like slow burn, and the second was like a pretty solid like with all the new scenarios. Because I really like the scene with like the bus. I really like the stuff they did with the train, and like the final kind of like showdown they had was like that was pretty like fun.
Oh yeah, when the truck is slowly like driving off of the cliff, like I was like, oh man, this looks great, and this is a TV movie.
Yeah.
On basically a shoestring budget.
I was a bit like thrown off. Like they keep highlighting the fact that the truck is flammable, and during its final crash, it doesn't blow up.
In fact, the main character's car is the one that gets caught
on
fire.
Yeah, this guy like gets hit, it flows out. Like there's fire there. There's a flammable truck, but like there's no explosion. What?
They subverted your expectations.
Also, I was a bit thrown off. Like there's no music for most of this movie.
There's some scare chords.
There's some scare chords, yeah, but I mean like most of the time it's either like just people talking on the radio or just the revving of the engine. And I mean, it works, in establishing the tone and everything, but it did feel very odd in certain points.
Question.
Yeah.
What location is this movie supposed to take place in? Because I was thinking Oregon, because they have people pump gas for the drivers, and the only other state that forces people to do that is New Jersey.
I guess it took
But I
place in
kept
New
seeing
Jersey.
Nevada and California license plates.
I mean,
He's traveling on the road.
he is
Okay.
traveling on the road.
Yeah, but yeah, this is a strong debut. It's kind of messed up, honestly. I'm like, damn, Spielberg was good from the start. Like, even Scorsese, like, it took a little bit before he became Scorsese.
I've seen a lot of people describe this movie as Jaws on the road, and yeah, I mean, it does kind of end the same way. The
More or
truck
less, yeah.
truck dies in the 2 minutes credits.
At least with the credits, the main character doesn't really have a way to go back, so he's just kind of stuck there.
Oh yeah, like
Speaking of the credits, I just want to say, did you guys notice it was the SpongeBob font?
oh yeah, oh my god.
Where?
No,
In the
just
credits?
Font was like
just
the
that-
same font they used in the SpongeBob credits.
I did not make the connection.
Now that I think about it, yeah, you're right.
Like, I don't know, it just like, I know back then it wasn't that, but it's just kind of funny, like, just ending this like thriller movie with like SpongeBob. I was like, oh,
Almost
like, it's a
expecting,
retroactive
almost ex-
thing.
almost expecting that dirt to start playing.
Speaking of references, did you guys catch 88 miles an hour?
Yeah, I guess Back to the Future must have referenced that.
Yeah.
I mean, Back to the Future was like produced by Spielberg, so who knows? Maybe.
He had some involvement. It counts as a reference or an allusion to the upcoming movie.
Actually, that goes back to Rocky Horror in a way, because in Rocky Horror at one point they say, "Great Scott," and one of the call-outs is "Wrong movie, asshole." I mean, overall, like, honestly, like, there's not really a whole lot to say. I mean, it's what you
It's a
see
very
is what you
simple premise that's
what you
executed really well, like I said.
yeah.
It's good premise, even if it, for me anyway, gets a little mundane by the end, but I enjoyed it through and through.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is a definite
Solid
recommendation for me.
7.
A definite recommendation for me. Thumbs up.
Absolutely, especially because it's cool to see where Spielberg got his start.
Yeah.
He would only get better from here. So, not a bad first impression. Not a bad first impression at all.
But like his second movie, though, that's a
Oh,
fucking
technically,
classic right
Jaws is
there.
actually the third movie.
Listen.
Yeah. His second movie was Sugarland Express, I believe.
Oh, fuck.
The title?
I guess that's gonna be the next one you recommend, man.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know anything about Sugarland Express actually.
That name sounds like so familiar, so I'm sure I've heard about it before.
I
No,
think
yeah,
I've heard it too.
Jaws was number 3.
Okay, well, these two movies walked so that Jaws could run.
Indeed.
That's what I was going to say, but okay. I forgot there was a movie in
okay.
between.
It's okay. It's okay. I tend to forget Sugarland Express as well, but it's not because
That's not a good sign.
No, it's because I've never seen it, and also
Okay.
because Jaws is huge.
Yeah. Sugarland Express has some pretty good reviews. Like, it's considered a good movie, so.
And like I said, I'd never heard of Duel before either, but it's more because it's a TV movie, and TV movies, it's on, and then it's
Yeah.
kind of. I mean, I think the most famous TV movie there is like High School Musical. People still talk about that.
Yeah.
And also, this is like a 50-year-old TV movie, so when does it come up in conversation?
Fair.
Well, it did for the past
It did?
25 minutes.
Indeed, it did. So check it out. Recommend.
Okay, so if you like Duel, some other movies that you should check out that you'd probably like is Christine, directed by John Carpenter, Death Proof, directed by Quentin Tarantino, and Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. They're both about Christine's about like an evil car that kills people. Death Proof is very much like some dude chasing down and killing people on the road. And Mad Max 2, I mean, it's Mad Max, so you guys obviously know, where the similarities kind of are. And so it's also my turn to recommend, so I'll do that.
Indeed.
So
All right. What you got?
So I noticed that I always recommend, the director-driven artsy stuff, the foreign films or the weird internet shit. Well,
Mhm.
this time I'm just gonna recommend a normal movie, not just like a film classic, but just like a regular classic that everyone, knows. So yeah, I was in the mood for Thanksgiving, and this is basically like my kind of like comfort movie. It's Rocky.
Okay.
Oh, hey! I finally get to watch Rocky.
It's been a while since I saw this.
I've never
Yes.
seen it before.
I watch it like every year, honestly. It's one of my favorite movies like of all time. Like I'm gonna straight up like just say like this is like the one movie that every time I watch it, it's like the first time I'm watching it again, and I absolutely love it. And this is I feel like this is like an odd movie. Like this isn't something people expect me to just like be one of my favorites ever. But yeah, I think this is a masterpiece. Yeah, Rocky, 1976. Sylvester Stallone. I think this is the first Stallone joint we're going into, right?
I think so.
I wonder if we've talked about Arnold yet. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, we did Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, Jingle
Right,
All the
Jingle
Way.
All the Way. Okay, so any of his like his actual like classics, his
No.
hits. Okay,
You could argue Jingle All the Way is a classic to some people.
Well,
I mean, it is a classic, but like not like
it's a classic if you're the
not
right
talking.
person.
It's not like in the same breath as like
Like, you gotta be a certain type of person to call that movie a classic.
It's not one of my favorites, but I mean, I can. It's
I
dumb.
feel like it's considered a classic because it's Arnold, and it's not like a classic that like made Arnold. You know.
Regardless, I mean, Christmas is coming up soon, so we got to start thinking about what we're choosing for that time.
I already have a pretty decent idea of what I want. But,
I have an
yeah.
idea. I don't know if I'm gonna go through with it though.
I
We'll
gotta
see.
give it some thought.
We got time.
Anyway,
But
yeah,
Rocky. Join us next week for Rocky.
going
This
from
has
Rocky
been-
Horror to just Rocky.
Anyway, this has been It's Always Sunny in Hollywood. Till next time, keep on trucking.
And remember to get your radiator pipe fixed.